Now, hello. This is the Red Pill News Dispensary. How you doing, guys? I just wanted to first of all, audio good. Audio should be good because I'm going without the headphones in this one. So please let me know if the audio is good or not. Should be. I'll just check it out myself. Audio good here? Audio good? It's a bit scratchy, maybe a little loud. You know what? I'm gonna have to, because I don't have my headphones in, so I can't adjust it like that. The headphones disappear in a house with a child. It's unbelievable. I have everything, all my equipment's like in one little box. Blows my mind how things can go missing. All right, let me see. Let me see. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Let me see. Hello, hello. Hello. Loud and clear. I think it's good. Scratchy? Hello. Loud and clear. I think it's good. I think it might just be some background. I think it's background. I think it's good.
Good night.
All right. Good night. You want to say one more good night? Say good night. Good night.
Good night.
All right. One big kiss. Mwah. Okay.
Good night.
You can't go on camera. All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Good night.
Amanda, she's trying to get on the camera. Sorry, this is not the way I wanted to. This is why I had to delay the show a little bit. All right, guys, we're gonna dive right into this.
All right, Olivia, come on, you
Oh, you know why? I didn't have my. Okay, we're good now. Should be all good now.
So you want body? All body you have to do? You know what?
All right. All right, so that's how the show's gonna start, but we're really getting into some serious stuff here, folks. All right, so that's how the show's gonna start, but we're really getting into some serious stuff here. All right, I want to hear myself. It's like, oh, I hate it. I hate, like, you ever, like, I don't know if any of you guys creators or you can relate in some way. Sometimes I hate hearing myself. You know, even like with radio, like I just, I don't know. It's a common thing. Anyway, so Q. Yes, I'm talking about Q. I know there's a lot of like Q deniers out there, but if you're paying close attention and you don't just this is all I ask. Do not have blinders on. All right. No shill here. There's no, you know, no, I'm not getting paid by some, I don't even know what a Q shill is. I mean, I guess like you would get paid by somebody who makes money from Q. That's the only way you could be a Q shill. I mean, then that's happened. We know of situations where that's happened, but I would think that my reputation would take me further than that. Than for anyone to think of a shill, I think that's kind of out the window. It's more so, do we believe this? Now, some of the posts, the proofs in the posts that have come through lately have been basically, I mean, once this IG report once it dropped, like I said, I made it about to page 200. I read that real juicy 186 to 190. Real juicy there. That was new to me. Well, not new, but it was like something that I had heard about that was elaborated on. It was very interesting, really. And so basically, one big thing with Q was the watches. I wanted to kind of like take us down memory lane a little bit and look into some of this. Now, if Q wasn't your thing, trust me, tonight's not the show for you. But don't worry. I also have some intel towards the end If afterwards you want to come back and watch it and just watch it till, fast forward to the end. I have some good intel towards the end. But it's going to be mostly Q in this show. And then after this show, I have different shows planned. Like for if a lot of you guys may not have heard of something called Operation Northwoods. I'm going to go over that either tomorrow, either Friday or Saturday, and then vice versa, depending on which one I feel more comfortable. Most likely, probably on Saturday, the Operation Northwoods, and on Friday, Tebeke Tepes. As I thought it was Tepe. I mean, that's the way it looks, but I guess it's pronounced Tepes. DG. You turned me on to that, so thank you. I want to make sure I pronounce things correctly as well. And yeah, I know a lot of us do want to hope Q is real, but if it's just purely hope, I mean, then again, what else do we got? I get you. It depends how you define a hope. If it's just 100% hope, then that's the type of stuff you want to be careful with, right? And even to this day, as confident as I am, this is what I can say 100%. The intel that comes out of Q comes true. It comes true. I mean, I went into this past week with so many proofs that I've learned on the boards over these past 2 years. So many things. I have a background in intelligence, and even for someone without a background in intelligence, there's a few things that I understand a little bit better, especially when they start going shorthand. And they're talking about SIGINT and things like that. Like that's the stuff that blew me away. Stuff I haven't seen since the military. But really, it is the proofs. It's these things that it gets to a point where, and Q, this is something something that he used. How long until it's mathematically impossible? It's the way I see you Google QAnon into Google, and you look at what you get for search results and how now if they just wanted to paint it as a conspiracy theorist, that's expected, right? Especially if it's legit. But it's almost expected no matter what, because it's chained to Trump, and it's just they're going to paint it that way. But it's another thing. Now I know that they're dishonest for the most part, right? For the most, to be honest, let's be honest. The media is dishonest. A lot of YouTube is dishonest. But when you take it and when you look at how they misrepresent what this Q thing is all about, they make it sound like it's like JFK is gonna, even though Q came out and said, nope, sorry to burst your bubbles, guys. JFK Jr. is not alive. You know what I mean? But then they'll just like stick on that. A conspiracy group that thinks JFK Jr. is alive. So it gets a little out there, right? JFK Jr. is Q plus. I always thought that the former head of the NSA, director of the NSA, Admiral Rogers, I always thought that he was potentially Q plus, only because I know that what he did and what the NSA did, because they have everything. I mean, they have everything. For what I did, like CIA, that's human intelligence, FBI, that's more law enforcement. That's totally different. But NSA, they do a lot of SIGINT signals intelligence, which is what I did in the military. So it kind of speaks my language, and it makes more sense to me. And it seems like Q is a mixture of the two. They definitely have some some operators, and they definitely have some. Well, I would say even more so SIGINT. But let's jump into this. First of all, here's just like the really like ones that are easy to wrap your head around. The watches. 12:09, 1:29. Well, at 1:29 was the exact same day, day 12/9 from the 12:09, so the 9th of December, and then the IG Horowitz, his report was released at 1:29, as well as a something from both um, Barr, Attorney General Barr, and this special prosecutor that we all have learned about. If you guys, and if you haven't learned about him, you'll learn more about him tonight. Durham. We've learned about these two guys, and they both dropped their kind of version on how they saw the Inspector General report, which varied greatly from how others took it. So it's really kind of funny how this is all working out. And let's just jump right into it because really the proof is right there in front of you. I've had people who are in the know come to me and say, I think I get it. I see. Just things that I know I can't tell you, it makes sense. So there might be some things that they know that they're seeing confirmations in, which is why it's been my thing the whole time that people who are potentially going to get in trouble, um, people who are potentially going to have a lot more on the line, they know it's real. And I argue that this impeachment, because while the Senate or the House before this, in the middle of an impeachment, they don't do any other work. And impeachment's very, very serious. I wish they treated it as serious as it is, but they use it almost as like a stall tactic because they know what's coming. Okay, the people who run this world, run our country, they know what's coming. And this is why I think that this is the most valuable thing going on the internet. Now, it's been going for years, but it's finally bearing fruit. So let's just jump right into this. Screen share. All right, so I've learned not to share the audio in that way. All right, bang. All right. And that's another thing. AI. See, that's another thing. Joe Shields, he knows what I always. A lot of you guys know what I always say. The only thing I will put out there as like a disclaimer. This isn't a cop out. This is just me being 100% honest. The only thing that would make me think that this is not real is if it is artificial intelligence and they have some kind of thing where they can kind of predict the future, because what they're kind of doing is giving us stories, and they've already figured out how we are going to react to each and everything, which is alarming. I mean, the whole world has just changed with this AI. It's able to, they've been able to kind of do this on their own without AI. Now you give AI all the tools that the higher ups and the elites and the intelligence services have been using, such as sentient world simulations, where they can run simulations on this fake world and see how they react and make decisions based on that. When you put that into the hands of AI, it's all of our brain power put together. You can't touch this thing. Now, I think that there is a certain line that gets crossed when you start messing with the genetics, when you start making a basically a god on Earth. All right. All right. So here we go. We're going to jump right in, but you know what? We're going to start. I want to start way back. It's going to be a lot, but we're going to start where we left off, actually. I remember where we left off, only because I went to the last video, made sure I was right where I thought we left off. This is what's good about having the touch screen, because this thing, like, you click the button once, it goes flying. So I believe we ended at operators standing by because, yeah, see, as you guys can see here, Anon's determined significance of 129 from December 2nd drop. Now, it wasn't just after the fact that I was saying this. If you guys go back to back then when I was talking about this, I said back around the December 2nd, and there'll be a Q video there. And I said it right then and there. If it doesn't drop on the 9th, it's going to drop on January 29th. But most likely that's the time. So it's going to be like 1:29 p.m. maybe. That's exactly what it ended up being. But I just didn't know that it wouldn't just be the IG report. It would also be, as it says over here, the Durham statement, the IG report announcement, and they left out the Boss statement, the Boss statement as well. And you know what's funny is they really had that. I mean, I don't think this was on purpose. Who knows? There's a lot of delay tactics in that. You can call it impeachment. But one thing that was promised to us, and I'll talk to it when we get there because it's actually referenced here. Okay. So exact time of Durham statement. Think Q Durham start date. Coincidence? Having fun yet? So, Ba, he made this statement at exactly 1:29, which is the exact time that the report came out. Exact time that there was also a statement by Durham, and now the Q and Durham start date. By the way, I remember I said if you guys saw the last video I did where I talk about Q, might actually have been the last video. But basically, what he said was, that we are going to see that. I said, well, I think it was around what October, late October. Well, that's what it was. It was October 28th, October 27th, into the 28th. So in a 24-hour time period, literally under 24 hours, was the first Q post, and when Durham was put into action. He was put into action a year later. So I believe 2018, I believe. October 2018 going to 2019. I'm pretty sure that's what it is with Durham. Although I could have sworn he was involved before, but maybe he was just mentioned. I don't know, but unless I have the date, the year wrong. But no, it's got to be that. It has to be 2018 if Q started 2017. So, although I thought didn't Q start 2016? I'd have to look back. I get confused with it sometimes. It's been years of this. Okay, so 3693, and you always want to look at things like this. The 13, 16, 37, 38. You want to look at the time. You want to look at the date. You want to look at these things. There's so much packed in. If there's a picture, you want to look at what the title of the JPG or whatever type of file it is. You want to look at what is the name of that actual picture. By the way, audio is good, right? And then we're gonna get going. Look at that. We have 17 people in the room. Q. All right. So same evidence to free Flynn currently being used to indict others. And that GJ, by the way, is grand jury. 302s. If you guys aren't familiar, like 302s, it's like the FBI. They one of the things they have 302s. But you know what? We actually covered this. We covered right up until here. We covered right up until here. So this is going to be all the new stuff. Did we? And then we had also told you guys on the last one, it was said, oh no, we start. This is where we left off. We left off at the at Guantanamo, but we also mentioned on the 15th. He had mentioned, I say he, but it's a team. The only he is the Q plus, which at this point, I was thinking it could be Admiral Rogers. It looks like it's POTUS. That's what it's coming down to. But anyways, so yeah, Q plus is it's basically been confirmed. It's POTUS. So okay. So same evidence free flame being used to indict others. GJ, the grand jury, with the grand jury. 302. Mod 1 count. Who listened in 2 count FISA. Now that means so the 302 would be 1, and I think these are counts as in like you know if you guys have ever been to court, you have a count to this and a count, it looks like one person is going to be a count for the 302 mod. I'm assuming that's McCabe, right? Who listened in 2 count on the FISA. Who listened in? Well, that would be actually be Stork, and this guy called it's an Italian name. I thought I had it by heart. It's like Perullo or something like that. Palullo. So another FBI agent, Palullo or something like that. Panuco. So you know what? I'll bring it up after. And then now 6 counts. I'm not so sure what the 6 counts are. I could probably guess half of them. Not guess. I could say for sure about half of them, maybe 4 of them. FBI agent 1P. Now I think that's talking about this Italian named FBI agent, Peruccio, something like that. I'll get the name for you guys by the end of it. Either it'll come to me or I'll just look it up. Let's see. If FISA warrant was illegal. If FISA warrant, but now look at all these dots after this. This all stands for something. If FISA warrant predicated on illegal, uncorroborated, and this one I already figured out. It's if you fill it in, it's evidence. Each dot, it comes out to evidence, uncorroborated evidence. If FISA actors purposely withheld exculpatory evidence from the court, I don't know that one, but then we know about the watches, right? In the past, that's been used as a way to communicate. It says Q and the team is always saying, learn our comms. Well, to me, this is saying, we know what the watches can represent. They can represent a day, a time of multiple things happening at once. I still don't rule out that January 29th isn't a date. And the reason I say this is because we know that a lot of these have double meanings. And this 129 already had like triple meanings, as we know, with everything I said just a few minutes ago. But also, I wouldn't be surprised if this January 29th was the next thing in order. Because basically, it's going to go the IG report release, then the Comey report, and then, you know what? It's all laid out here. I'll show you. But I think that the next one, because Flynn, his sentencing, although it's kind of now, it's like, this will also be in here. But any of these cases involving this investigation are now being looked at in a totally different way after the findings of the IG, which was one of Obama's guys. But had he not reported it correctly, he'd be screwed. So it was reported correctly from Horowitz. Um, he had it. He did his job. I'll give him that. He did his job. It's kind of funny how they try to spin it, though. They try to make it seem like, no, nothing to see here. Yeah, nothing to see here. This is the beginning of that was huge, and it's nothing compared to what's coming. It's just, I shouldn't say nothing, because it's like it opens the box, and now we're taking a look inside the box. Now we're gonna start pulling things out of the box and start realizing things, and it's gonna get to the point where the public is gonna be demanding indictments. And those indictments are already sealed and ready to go. So this is military precision. And like I said, they run a lot of things off these relay switches, and we'll get to that later as well. All right, and so right here, of course, it says watch. And now, for those of you guys that are new to this, when you have something inside the kill, they call it a kill box. But basically, inside the what are those called again? Not parentheses, but I know how to use them in a math equation. What is it called again? Anyone got that? Oh, and Brexit is in effect on the 29th as well. And that's another thing. Keep in mind, this isn't just about the United States of America. This is worldwide. Worldwide. All right. So I'm going to really start going here. All right. So, and then it says watch in kill brackets. Brackets, I guess might be the word. So, but kill brackets is what they call it. Because if you're inside those brackets, it means you're a target. It means, somebody who's going down, somebody who, eyes on. It's not a good thing to be inside of those brackets. It's either that, or it's a something like this, like watch what happens next. And we all know the watch and the significance of the watch. So sometimes it's not just, but then again, the meaning of the watch being able to tell you the exact time or day that something's going to happen, that's a huge Q proof. I mean, that's huge. I mean, how could he possibly know that? You think AI, but it doesn't. It's going to predict what humans and the upper echelons of governments are going to do and exactly when they're going to do. No, this is organized. I came to that conclusion a long time ago, which is why I put myself out there and made a lot of predictions, and they all came true. So, and that's not even based on sources. That's just my own. I studied this long enough to have enough confidence to go that far. All right, so next post. Oh, check this out. So, check out this little Lisa Page. POTUS wants to know everything we're doing. Now, if you guys don't know Lisa Page, she's the one who President Trump, you hear him speaking about the two lovebirds in the FBI, as he'll say, hit her and Strzok. And Strzok was in a higher position. She was also in the FBI, and they would go back and forth and basically talking about how they're going to sabotage this whole thing and an insurance policy that they had, which was basically this whole thing that they with the FISA spying, but also they implanted it all across the government. They implanted people. So and these people to this day are wreaking havoc, but slowly but surely. And that's why people, when they say things like, "What's taking so long? There should have been indictments by now." I don't know if you guys ever been in the judicial court, and imagine that, just some stupid judicial BS, like local. This is on the highest level of government. When you have deep state that need to be rooted out, they need to be, sometimes they're left in because they already got the dirt on them. So they kind of use them and um, hang things over their heads and use them. Um, but probably, hopefully, to get a lighter sentence. I don't know. I mean, because in the end, it's kind of clear where their allegiances are anyway. But but this is significant. Look at the date, September 2nd, 2016. Last time I checked, he wasn't president. Actually, he wasn't even president elect until November of 2016. He wasn't the president until January 2016. So how is it September 2nd, she's not talking about Trump, she's talking about Obama. POTUS, let's just say President Obama, wants to know everything we're doing. And these are the same people who disgraced the top of the FBI. And there's a lot of good people in the FBI that, let's just say, they're under bad management. And if it's spoiled at the top, because basically the whole government was spoiled at the top, this is what you get. Next one. Mark Meadows says Bill Barr looking at unbelievably unusual activity during Obama's final months in office. Well, I know one thing I found unusual. This isn't even related, but he said no more building by the Israelis, and it was just kind of weird. It was very important to him that the Muslims got a fair shake. And okay, if it's just that, that's fine. But he did this in a real, shady, this is my last act of power, and it has nothing to do with this country. It has to do with Israel and their opposition. So we all know by now the final months of the campaign and the transition caused chaos for the DC establishment. They didn't know what to do. Trump too. He fired Chris Christie and redid the entire transition. Point is, Trump's historic upset caught most off guard, and stuff happened. We also know from glowing media reports leaked by proud Obama staffers that Team Obama spread the Russian information far and wide inside the bureaucracy in the event Trump wanted to shut down the investigation. Well, Trump didn't do that. Trump, if one thing we've learned about Trump, and really this whole this Q team, is that they will never get in the way. I think who was it? It was somebody. It might have even been Napoleon, but I think it was. Never get in the way of an enemy who is destroying himself, or and an enemy who is making bad decisions, and just basically, if he sees another general who thinks he has all figured out and he has all these plans that he's going to do, yet Napoleon already knows exactly how he's going to conquer it, and the guy's basically playing right into his hands. Don't get in the way of that. Don't get in the way of that. Let them do their thing. Let them, and they play time and time after again. We see the whole Mueller fiasco we had to go through. I mean, that was tough for me to hear every night, especially since I knew better. And I knew better because of Q. There never a doubt in my mind that anything would come out of that. And I don't know, maybe I depended too much on Q too early, but I don't know. I could kind of dispute that because honestly, I've had so many proofs with this guy that I think people are starting to see things now that it's going to be their proofs, but I've just been following it for so long, Now, another thing I wanted to point out, this one's a .png, but I wanted to point out here also, you see this? The PNG here. So This one, I'm not seeing too much outside of the D9. 70135. Um, Although, you know what? You're going to see later a lot of 5 3s. And you take this around at 17, 5 3. See, 2 5 7 4. No, nothing there. 16 22 6 22. But you got to look through these. Do not pay attention to what these are titled, especially at the beginning. But really the whole thing, but especially at the beginning. A long time ago, some anon started to realize that if they copy and paste those, they might get something totally different. Drop the .png and just actually take that code and post it. Sometimes it brings you down a rabbit hole like no other. Sometimes you get some real good intel that way. All right, so why would President of the United States Hussein assign renegade as his U.S. Secret Service code name? Define renegade. Noun: a person who deserts and betrays an organization, country, or set of principles. Synonyms: traitor, defector, deserter, turncoat, betrayer. Adjective: renegade, having treacherously changed alliance. Q. Found that very interesting as well. And then under that, Q simply puts logical thinking. All right, so on to the next. So again, here's another one of those JPGs. This one says EL8, and I'm seeing a lot with the EL. I mean, where my mind goes first is, if a lot of you guys don't know, but like in like old like Hebrew and things like that, like El is God. El, like for instance, Israel. That is like people, a land of God, something like that. I don't want to misquote it, but even a lot of the names that we know, Michael, um, all of these are significant. El means God, and it's Hebrew, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so it could be that L8 JH JH JH. Anyone here with a JH initial? I don't know, any ideas, throw them out there. But I'm telling you, pay close attention to these things. So here's this. Haven't you figured it out yet? It's not about Trump's corruption. It's about making sure you don't find out about their corruption. And there's a lot of that. Accuse your enemy of what you're doing. If you're the one who should be under investigation, claim the world against the. You go to sleep. All right. Good night, baby. Okay. Night, night, baby. Okay. Night, night. Come on. All right. So with that, okay, so that was all for that one. And then here we go right here. The swamp runs deep. Now this is something from back the 28th of July. So the 28th of July, 2019. The swamp runs deep. So this is an older one, not too old at all. Like what, 5 months now? The swamp runs deep. DNC servers hold many answers. The Scaramucci model. And for those of you who aren't familiar, the Scaramucci model is kind of like, you you put somebody in for a short amount of time and then take them out. You know, they serve their purpose, and then you take them out. There's many different reasons strategically why they do that. Um, Now I'm not just talking the obvious reasons why you would do it in any other regular political situation, but also there is something to it as far as um, whatever they're trying to do. Um, Basically, you replace somebody, you put someone in short term. It's supposed to be short term. They make it sound like, oh, they took him out because, oh, he could say someone could, S his own D from. This is all planned, military precision. DNI and NSA. Now we've gone over at nauseum, but for those of you guys a little bit new, and if you forget, at nauseum we went over how Coates needs to be replaced at the DNI so that NROC, the National Reconnaissance Operations Center, yes, basically they run all the satellites. I mean, they run it all. I mean, that's like our country's like biggest SAP special access program. It is unbelievable what they can do with satellites. I can't say too much because it's kind of thin line there. So, but it's significant. And NSA, I think that goes without needing to be said. But apparently they're going to do the Scaramucci model at the DNI and NSA. Well, it looks like that's what they're doing right now. I mean, right? McGuire right now is, unless I missed something, he's still the head of the DNI. And we hadn't heard about a DNI in like the regular media. It wasn't even needed until all of a sudden this whistleblower came out. And who was the one who made the decision? If this whistleblower testimony would go straight to where, it's because they had McGuire in that the whistleblower, they said, nah, we don't see enough there. That's the head of the DNI, which stands for the Director of National Intelligence. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Director of National Intelligence. And then you have, of course, NSA and AWAN. Don't forget that name. A lot of you guys might have heard that name in the past, and people thought that he got off because he had a plea deal. Oh, he didn't get off. DWS. Anyone knows what that is? Let me know, because I can't think of what that is. Usually, I've gotten used to this. I can kind of tell. So obviously, Democrats in Congress. Dual. No, I don't know if DWS. Could be something obvious. I might be missing something. House of Cards. You didn't think the plea deal was the end, did you? Oh, that's what I was talking about, the plea deal. Yep. So he took a plea deal. So let's open up this little. So it looks like A1. He thought he was in the clear. Oh, you're not, buddy. So we'll just take a. We're not going to read the whole thing, but we'll hit the key points. Oh, these ones. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, straight out of Broward County, right? What is that? The same one with Sheriff Israel and all that shady stuff that goes on in that. It's always something going on in that county. That might be one of the most corrupt counties there is. So scandal reopens. Court papers on Democratic IT. So he was an IT aide. Imran Awan make new revelation. Just an IT aide. But you know what? When the people above you look untouchable, you might think you're untouchable and do things that you know are wrong. I'm curious to see. I haven't watched this video, but curious to see what he's actually saying, if anything interesting. I don't know. You know what? It'll probably tell me right here. So the Department of Justice said this month it could not release records of Democratic technology aide Imran Awan due to technical difficulties, but later admitted in court documents that it cannot release records on him because there is a secret ongoing case related to the matter. What might that be? Durham. Yeah. See, now people need to realize the inspector general, his scope was narrow. It was narrow. You didn't have to speak to him if you didn't want to. You could only go at, or basically what he did was like go over the documents. And even just by doing that, he was able to uncover obvious corruption and just tomfoolery. The type, I mean, basically criminal. I mean, like for instance, there was an FBI lawyer, and they asked the CIA. They say, "Hey, we're looking into Page. He's not one of your guys, right?" And the CIA says, "Yeah, he's one of our guys. Yeah, he works for us. He's one of our sources." And they switch. He takes that, and he in the report he puts from yes, it's one of our guys to no, he's not one of our guys. I mean, that's bad. That is bad. I don't know how he thought he would get away with it, but that was something that I never heard. See, that was one of the few things that I heard about that was totally new to me. Just because of the Q stuff, I knew exactly who the players were, what they did, how they did it. The how came out a little bit, but so much more is gonna come out. But this guy, and I had never even heard. I think it was like Klein. I don't want to say the wrong name, but Kleinkeld, or something Klein. Yeah, it's like a Jewish name. Anyway, so Judicial Watch filed the Freedom of FOIA on November 7th, 2018. 7,000 Capitol Police records related to cybersecurity investigation. All so again, producing records. That deadline came and went with no records being produced. On a November 13th phone call, the DOJ said technical difficulty had resulted in the delay. Judicial Watch stated in a court filing. In a newly released court filing, the Department of Justice wrote, pursuant to an order issued by the Honorable, okay, let's see. The difficulties in providing responsive material was due to the unexpected and unique set of facts described above that was out of the control of the defendant. The defendant's only motivation was to maintain the integrity of the sealed matter as much as possible until the issuing court provided guidance. So basically, let's see the key word up here. Anyways, this is a long thing, but the key, it's right here. But later admitted in court documents that it could not release records on him because there was a secret ongoing case related to the matter. Huge. All right. Let me just check on chat, make sure everything's smooth. Hey, Siberian Bear, how you doing? I'll be doing another call-in show, by the way, I got two big shows coming up tomorrow night and the next night. Tebeke Tepe and Operation Northwoods. Sunday I'll be doing a call-in, by the way, just so you know. Okay. We're gonna start. It's gonna get juicier and juicier, folks. So as we said right here, so the Department of Justice said this month that it could not release records on Democratic technology aide Imran Awan due to technical difficulty, but later admits we won't know that. And then it goes on, it kind of like really gets into it. Could not release records on him because there is a secret ongoing case related to the matter. Secret ongoing case related to the matter. Secret ongoing case related to the matter. And then when you see something like this from Q, just the like a post with nothing written, he's basically just acknowledging that this is just an anon that wrote that. He's acknowledging, you get it. That's the key word right there. That's basically what that's all about, which is why I didn't even bother reading all that. All right, so name worth remembering. You see that? Name worth remembering. Jeremy Fleming has been the director of GCHQ since April 2017. Jeremy joined government from the private sector in 1993 and became a career MI5 officer with significant professional experience of national security and intelligence work, including international and Northern Ireland counterterrorism, counter-espionage, cyber, and protective security. Jeremy joined the board of MI5 in 2005. Okay, so when he came back, he became the director for intelligence collection, which, I mean, that's basically the Brit's way of describing what I did. I guess cryptology has a different job, but that's basically what I did in the Navy. Overseeing a significant uplift in digital capabilities. He was promoted to assist director general in 2011 and led MI5's preparations for the London 2012 Olympics. Jeremy was appointed by Deputy Director General of MI5 in April 2013. With responsibility for the agency's core operational work, he played a leading role in shaping the organization to disrupt the changing face of the threat from terrorist groups and hostile state actors. Since joining, Jeremy has overseen the organization's response to the 2017 terror attacks in the UK, the release of WannaCry by North Korean cyber actors, and the use of a nerve agent in Salisbury and Amesbury in 2018. He has also continued GCHQ's work to be as transparent as possible, to explain as much as we can to wider public without jeopardizing our core mission. Go ahead, Phil. All right. So basically, the thing to get out of that, what you should take from that, is just like there were some names that we mentioned 2 weeks ago. Those names now are front and center in all this, and you'll see later. Now here's something right here. So this was something that I actually only caught half of because I was watching this while I was prepping for the show. Now I didn't hear any of. I heard there was some like very interesting stuff in this. Again, here's another one of those PNG. All right, you want to look at these 51 DE1, B2. There's all these references to B2, and this looks like a date over at the end here. If you guys see here, so the B2 stealth bomber ended up being Bill Burr, and like I said, there's always double meanings. Yeah, so he would be like the stealth bomber. He's kind of stealth because people think that he's kind of maybe part of the deep state. They can rely on him. Which would make him a stealth bomber. And then B2, Bill Barr. It's not a stretch. If you know the comms, it's not a stretch at all. That's almost definitely what that's all about with the B2 stealth bomber. If you want to call it a stretch, then I'm picking that out of the file. I'm telling you, these files stand for something. Over here, this looks like a date, by the way. So you have EB. I don't know if that means anything because one thing you learn when you do cryptology, not everything has a meaning. There might only be a few things. The rest is just you drop it. But look at this. So I don't know if the one's significant or the eight significant. Or if the one is significant and the 809, you always drop the zero, it makes 17. I mean, that might be a stretch there. But it could very well be something that happened on February 8th, 09. But if any of you guys have ever been in the military or work in the government, the way you write dates is the day, then the month, then the year, which is why I'm confused on this one. So maybe February 1st, 2017? I don't know. But there's something to that. That February isn't there for no reason. But February 1st, February 8th, those are days to keep an eye on as well, along with January 29th. But as time gets closer, things always are made a lot clearer as we get closer to these dates. All right. So before looking at this Twitter, what we're gonna do is we go. Okay, so the swamp runs deep. Sleepers everywhere. Think coats. Wheels in motion. So basically, when I think coats, I think of a head of a department that had, a really, the head of the DNI position. That's a huge position in the intelligence field. I mean, that's the director of national intelligence. So, he has the NROC, the Reconnaissance, National Reconnaissance Operations Center. All that is under him. There's so much under that umbrella of the head of the DNI. But he had to be removed in order for certain other things to go forward. And those things ended up making sense because right after he was removed, all of a sudden you start hearing the head of the DNI. Well, that's his decision. That's all up to the head of the DNI. And it's a new head of the DNI, McGuire, and it's Trump's guy, and da 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 da. It all ended up making sense. So, like they say, sleepers, plural, everywhere. And the S is in brackets. I think that's just basically saying there's still a bunch of sleepers for the deep state. So, and by the way, guys, just because we're talking about the U.S. government, of course we're going to have to clear up our own government, but this is worldwide. Like someone mentioned earlier, which is a great observation, is that date is also not only when Flynn sentencing comes out, and the reason they might reverse this sentencing might tell us a lot. I think it definitely will tell us a lot. I think they'll have no choice. And I think all of a sudden he's able to speak freely, which will be very interesting. So when I think Coates, I think, like I said, somebody who needs to be removed and replaced, something along those lines. And it says wheels in motion. Now there's been some references to wheels up, but this looks like something totally different because wheels up is always in brackets, and that's actually a name of a shady aviation company, by the way. I've been looking into. So wheels in motion. So well, now knowing all that, let's check this Twitter. Cannot retrieve tweet at this time. I don't remember the last time that happened. That's kind of weird. Really? You can't retrieve that tweet? Wow. So Paul Sperry. Paul S. Now I am interested. Now I want to know why are you not able to retrieve that? That's BS. What is that? Did they take down his whole account? I mean, it sounds like Paul Sperry isn't exactly an up and up guy. Oh, it sounds that way. We'll see. But you know what? Now that I'm on this, check this out. Footage of the first suicide attempt by Jeffrey Epstein, an Israeli intelligence asset who was running a global sex blackmail ring, which is true, and who knew the dirty secrets of numerous US and UK elites, has magically gone missing? How mighty convenient. Wow. So we're not talking about the suicide. You know that first attempt he had a few weeks prior? Yet he wasn't on suicide watch. Surveillance footage taken during first Epstein suicide attempt missing. 1 day ago, New York Post. Wow. I hadn't heard about that yet. You guys hear that? So the surveillance, and look, the link. Can I get this link? Is this link gonna work? Now this is just something I'm stumbling upon. So let's just take a look. Because you know what, somebody that I highly respect retweeted this. So let's see. Surveillance footage of his attempt missing. Surveillance footage recorded inside a lower Manhattan prison at the time, not just any lower Manhattan prison. I mean, we're talking the prison. Like they held El Chapo. They held, I mean, you know, the biggest federal crimes. Maybe they're still in court. That's the thing. But the biggest stories you've heard where the people haven't exactly like been prosecuted yet, this is where they go. Inside a lower Manhattan prison at the time of Jeffrey Epstein's first apparent suicide attempt has mysteriously gone missing. Yeah, he killed himself. Okay. The footage was recorded outside the millionaire pedophile's cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center on July 23rd, when Epstein apparently tried to hang himself at the lockup. And that's why people think, oh, yeah, right, they're hiding the tapes. No, I think that if a real assassin goes in, I mean, think of these like these mini EMP devices where they can just shut down the electronics. They don't have to shut down everything. They can direct it to just shut down one particular camera. All of a sudden, that camera is malfunctioning during the suicide, right? So Epstein was sharing the cell with Nick Tartaglione, a hulking former cop in Westchester County accused of killing 4 people in a botched drug deal. Yeah, dirty cop. Murdered 4 people in a botched drug deal. Yeah, that guy. Like the guy who's like out of his mind, like on roids. Tartaglione's lawyer had requested that the footage be preserved, which tells me that Tartaglione probably had nothing to do with it, and he wants to prove that just in case they try to put this back on him or if anything does happen to him. But prosecutors admitted in a court hearing Wednesday that the footage had gone missing, the lawyer Bruce Bockett said. I don't know the details of it, of how it was lost or destroyed, or why it wasn't retained when it should. I mean, like when they already had a huge mistake, you'd think that any evidence that they do have that, you know, could either like whether it goes one way or the other, that's an important piece of information. That first suicide attempt is going to tell you a lot about the next attempted suicide attempt. And I'm sure there was something on that was telling one way or the other. Sometimes it's telling in one way to make you not think the other. You know what I mean? It gets really kind of, we're talking about some crazy counter intel / intel, but this has gone missing. Baca has maintained Tartaglione came to and tried to alert the gods when the perv tried to commit suicide in the jail. Yeah, is that what happened? Is that what happened? Now, who knows? Maybe this is patriots who made it go missing because they knew that some tomfoolery was going on. I don't know, but I just happened to stumble upon that because they're not showing us Paul S. Sperry. I don't know why. That's all we want to see. Paul Sperry. Paul S. Sperry. It's either Paul S. Perry or Paul Sperry. Whatever. We'll just look it up right now. But yeah, I just happened to stumble on that. So that's crazy. I didn't hear about that. So I might throw that in the title as well, because I didn't want to go off track, but something like that, yeah, that was definitely worth bringing to you guys. Okay, so let's look up this Paul Sperry or Paul S. Perry. I think it's Paul Sperry though. Do it. The longer Democrats drag out the impeachment process, the longer Durham has to bring indictments, declassified documents, expose. Now he's talking about Durham. Declassified documents. This guy knows what's going on. Expose new evidence. Trump was justified against Ukraine to help investigate how Obama, Biden, Clinton sabotaged the 2016 campaign. So we're talking to. This might be. Let me see. This is probably what they were referring to. So breaking. Asked directly if he'd serve out a second term if elected, Biden, who'd be 82, strangely balked at, oh, this is 30 minutes ago, at committing to serving out a second term. But that's not it. It goes deeper than that. This guy, no, this is gotta be, so this was about the 17th, so it's gotta be like 2 days, 6 days, I don't know. But then again, it's not always, usually it's new. Breaking. The FISA court learned about FBI falsifying evidence to obtain Carter Page FISA as early as October 25th, 2019, yet waited until December 5th, 2019 to order the FBI to provide certain information addressing those concerns. Why the delay? That could have been it. Anyways, you know what? They made it so that, you know what? I don't see anything from 2 days ago. I think what they did was they got rid of it. They got rid of it. That's one thing about Q. You want to get on, if you're going to be looking at his posts and trying to dissect them and decode them, you want to get on it as soon as possible because they can. Okay. So, anyways. All right. The Senate must be unrestricted to conduct other important business. If D's new Senate would not vote to convict, why proceed? How long does a typical Senate impeachment trial take? Can the Senate conduct other business during this time? No. What value might this have for Democrats? Well, it's pretty obvious the value that would have. I mean, if they can't conduct any other business, well, guess what? That kind of makes it so that everything gets delayed as far as the timeline of what needs to happen. So it's just basically it's a delay. It's a delay. Buy every minute you can. Hope for. I don't know. I honestly, and when you guys see the last tweets, not tweets, posts from Q, I thought it was just them trying to buy time and hope for the best with this. We all know the way this impeachment's going to go. The Senate won't vote that way, the way the Congress did. So that's it. That's how it goes. You know, they think they're leaving a red mark, and honestly, it's what's gonna. I think he'd win no matter what. He's definitely gonna win now. Forget about what's gonna come out with Durham, and even before that, the Comey report, what's the other report I keep? The Durham. I guess there'll be like a Durham report or something like that. But and then indictments, by the way. would be the next step, which will come up soon. But all right, so I proceed. What value might this have for Democrats? Bar Durham working in secret? Senate working openly? Nope. Nope. They're not working openly. Value of public learning the truth prior to, I guess that would be IG unseal. Oh, no. That's got to be Pfizer. Propaganda, push, failing. Transparency and accountability is the only way forward to save the republic. This is not another 4-year election. Game theory. Now, for those of you guys who aren't familiar with game theory, this is game theory. The branch of mathematics concerned with the analysis of strategies for dealing with competitive situations where the outcome of a participant's choice of action depends critically on the actions of other participants. Game theory has been applied to contexts in war, business, and biology. And I believe that using game theory in the context of war in this situation. So let's read that again. The branch of mathematics concerned with the analysis of strategies for dealing with competitive situations with the outcome of a participant's choice. And now remember, the beginning of Q, the first thing he said, I believe he said, do you want to play a game? And he was talking to the deep state and to, I think, patriots. So the outcome of a participant's choice of action depends critically on the actions of other participants. Game theory has been applied. So basically, it's basically your reaction based on the opponent's actions. To sum it up extremely loosely, that is the best way I could sum it up. If someone could sum it up better, I think that's pretty straightforward. But yeah. Here's another one of those weird ELX or 10 or I don't see much HGH, AMD, MD, MD, HG. I'm not sure. I'm not seeing much out of that, but I'm telling you this EL. I'm seeing EL on a lot of these. Anyone has anything? I know L is God in Hebrew, but if anyone has any other ideas, please share. Okay. So now this goes all the way back to the 3rd of March. Oh, now they're going to freeze me? Out of nowhere. I can read it like this. When will Americans wake up to the D Party con? I wish I could have this bigger for you, but more statements made. Here we go. What just happened? Oh, yeah, it gets juicy. I don't want to give it away. This gets really juicy. Come on. My computer never freezes. It's not like frozen. It's just like I need to take a second. All right. Well, while we wait on that, let's check on you guys. Oh yeah, we're doing a deep dive. I mean, it's just he's been posting like nuts, and yeah, that's crazy. I don't think so. I think Ghislaine, immunity. I don't think so, but I think a lesser. Yeah, I think she's definitely working with them. Definitely. That's why if you guys ever saw that picture of her supposedly getting some coffee and she's reading this book on the CIA and all this stuff, all kinds of little clues in that picture. By the way, it's a fake picture, Photoshop. She wasn't really there at an In-N-Out Burger. She wasn't really there. Um, Hoodoo Dino, you should check out some of my old Epstein stuff. I've done a lot of deep dives on Epstein. Um, yeah, he definitely didn't kill himself, but I do think he's dead. Mark Knott says he isn't dead, so I think he's dead. But you know, Mark Knott is a smart cookie. I know that. Um, well, here's your chance. The person who said they were a good minute behind, here's your chance to skip ahead, because I just had to give it a second so that I could load up again. All right. I don't know why it is so far behind. You know what? I'm gonna do that. ELX. I'm telling you, yeah, there's a lot to this. Yeah, there'll be a call in Sunday. Oh yeah. So thank you, Mark Knott. Thank you, Mark Knott. I want to give you guys the whole screen, so you don't need to see my ugly mug all the time. All right. Here we go. All right, we'll get this loaded back up. Let's give it 1 second. Okay. And you know what I'll do? I'll when I load this up, I'll edit out that like 5 minutes where they messed with it. Well, maybe it was just my computer. Just weird timing. Oh, so we were here. Name worth remembering. The swamp runs deep. Wouldn't let me pull that up. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh yeah, this is very interesting. Check this out. All right, this is from the 3rd of March, 2019. 5x5. Five by five. Yeah, she does. I just don't think she's getting total immunity. I don't think so. I don't care who her parents are. Okay. So, more statements made evidence without presenting facts. Okay, first, before I start this, let me just tell you one thing. Misspellings always matter when it comes to Q. Always have. There have been times where he's been out in the field and he's made a misspelling, and literally within seconds, because they proof, this is all military precision. There's been times when they're in the field, they did make a misspelling, and they say right away, misspelling on purpose, right away. But if they don't correct the misspelling, there's something to it. Let's continue. More statements made evidence without presenting facts. If evidence existed, now this is back March 3rd, and some people picked this up back then, or a lot of people picked this up back then. If evidence existed, especially with all that corn and cut the corn, and even Nunez even referred to it, but he was kind of trolling on them. The picture, the Twitter post of Comey out in the field of corn, and it just all that talk of harvesting the corn to be cut and the harvesting of corn. You guys know what I'm talking about, I think. The special counsel was authorized to conduct the investigation. Look at this, confined by the FBI director, James 8 Corney, in testimony before the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence on March 20th, 2017, including any links and coordination between the Russian government and individuals associated with. Now, this isn't really what matters, to be honest with you. This is March 3rd, 2019. What really matters is that misspelling. James 8 Corny. Now you see the R and the N. I'm sorry, the R and the N. My accent forms like an M. Like if you're just reading through it, you're not going to catch it in a lot of these records. I'll be honest. Reading the IG report, I didn't catch it every time. Reading some of these other reports, I didn't catch it each time. But you'll see how significant this is. So that's basically what's being pointed out here. The rest of this, that was what was being pointed to. Just so you know, that was the that's what you want to pay attention to. That right there. Okay. Anons identified the error made regarding. By the way, RE, it means regarding, not reply, for all you morons out there. I'm speaking to one person. Think recent doc release. Think recent doc release. Okay. Again, remember, misspellings matter. Durham. Now, this 5-3, I've heard a lot of different things, whether it's about a date, I'm gonna withhold judgment on what I think that is. That the main thing people think that's to do with a date, but this 1 through 99, it could refer to kill switches, and it could also refer to something that you'll be seeing later, and that is basically this 1 through 99 of well, you'll see it later. I'll show you later. It'll make a lot more sense then. But let's see what this person says. Very curious stuff. Who could have altered Horowitz's report to make the RN in Comey look like an M? And like I said, I read 200 pages. And the RN, it was hard to pick up when you're just reading. The RN does look like an M when you're just kind of reading through. Look like an M. Other instances of R and N have the natural gap, Rn, very close to M, but completely different as the kerning. You get the kernel, harvesting corn, harvesting Comey. Now, I think there's a double meaning. I've always said the whole corn thing was N rock backwards. Corn, N rock, corn, N rock. That's backwards, corn. So there's always double meanings as well. Because basically, when you took out Coates and replaced and put in McGuire as the DNI director. Hey,
Yeah, Bob. Yeah, Bob.
Amanda.
Yeah, Bob.
Yeah. Oh, Frozen.
That's one.
Wow, that's cool. Go get some more.
Try to read these stupid books and she will not
She just wanted to show me.
to sleep. Yes.
Okay. Night night, baby.
Come on, stop.
All right, but completely different as the kerning. Only in the name Comey/Corny has the kerning reduced to look like M. So they actually took it like a step further and really made it look like an M. I mean, look how they look at this. That's an R and an N. In the document, it looks like this. You can see the difference. Corny. Corny. See how they do that? So yeah, so that was, I mean, that was very interesting to me. And you're going to see how deep this went. This wasn't just once, wasn't just twice, not just 3 times. Can you guess how many times? Okay, so we'll come back to that. National Presidential Alert System 2. So basically, I think what they're saying is that they're going to be 2 why was this created and tested? Political warfare, information warfare. I guess it would be something like let's say like they're about to drop it all. I mean, Durham's about to announce these indictments and all this stuff's about to come out 100%. And basically the moment that they call the public awakening. Although the public awakening, I believe, has been like slow. People are starting to realize some certain things. But there's supposed to be this when they really drop some real hard information, people will be calling for indictments. I mean, to the average person, little do they know all of this has been going on behind the scenes for years. So, check this out. Now, this is a post made by a Anon. Now, I wouldn't pay attention to the I wouldn't pay attention to the man. I wouldn't pay attention to that as far as like, yeah, I've been telling you to look at the because this is made by an Anon. But corny 480 times. Comey 0 times. And this comes from www.justice.gov storage. Let's see. People started going into government records, and it appears that this is a way when they say now. Not only are they saying it like that's why they need the presidential alert systems, because you know why they're saying that. Why I mean, not only when this stuff's about to drop, that there's a way that the president can get it out to each and every person. This very important information when that day comes. But what it seems to be directly referring to is that this is a way you can make it where you can mess up a FOIA request. If someone requests the FOIA of anything to do with Comey, guess what? A lot of the stuff that they want to get, they're not going to get because he's actually listed as James 8 Comey or James Corney instead of Comey. And they've been talking about this corn and all this stuff way out. Even Comey himself. But they always said, it's always been said, symbolism will be their downfall. So, review of 4 FISA applications and other aspects of the FBI's Crossfire Hurricane investigation, which, by the way, is this FISA abuse, the IG report. It's all based on that. That's what they named that operation when they were all looking into them, as we learned earlier, from the top down. If you remember Lisa Page, what we showed you earlier. And by the way, there's like some sources I have, and I really hope that they watch this video because they can look through some stuff and maybe they have access to certain things. I don't know what their access is, but if they do have any, I mean, this is public, but they just might be able to understand it better. And when they look into it, they're going to see a lot more than I see. So I think it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be huge. This whole corny and guys, there's not that many people in here, but you guys are getting the tip of the spear here. This is it. This is it. I mean, this is huge. And if the sources end up watching this show, which I'm sure they will, they might have a better understanding of this. And maybe they can get back to me and let me know what they think. And if you guys are watching live, let me know what you think. They're putting corny instead of Comey in these reports. That way, if a FOIA from what are they called? Judicial Watch comes in, then they can boom right there and then they're gonna be able to pick up on it. They're going to know that that's a way to make it so that if you try to get everything on Comey, you're not going to get anything in this IG report. 480 times he's mentioned, but he's mentioned as corny. It's like, well, how is that? So that's a huge one. That is huge. And Q just references this. I mean, he hints them to it a post or two ago, right? And the Anons, they start doing their homework. They start. I mean, these guys, they're called autists for a reason. They have focus like no other. It's almost like I hate even saying it, but it's just the way the Chans are. It's like autistic focus, and they were able to figure it out. Like, yeah, no. 480 times they mentioned corny and mentioned Comey 0. So like I said, you do a FOIA, Judicial Watch does a FOIA on this or on anything, there's going to be a lot of different documents, and I think we're about to find out it's not just the IG report where this was happening, but the misspelling, yet to the eyes, it plays a trick on your eyes. I mean, they're pulling out all the stops. Seems like desperation. Or maybe there's more to it. Maybe it's a move by the Patriots for some kind of reason. I don't know. I couldn't see why, but then again, I've been surprised in the past. So this is referencing something that someone said. This is worldwide. I think someone said Merry Christmas to Q. He says worldwide, though nothing should ever replace Christ and Christmas. Merry Christmas, Anons / Patriots. God is on our side. Oh, here's some more. Here is some more. Fusion GPS interim. Look at this. So this is all the way back to the Fusion GPS stuff. Loretta Lynch, FBI Director James Corney. It is clear that Director Corney contributed to the DAG Rosenstein letter to Chairman Grassley. So this is a letter from Rosenstein to Grassley. Then Deputy Attorney General James Corney took a different approach in 03. Investigate the Valerie Plame matter. Mr. Corney did not make that. Like, all right, 1 or 2, it's like, okay. But 480 in the IG, and now all these other situations. Look at this. We're talking Fusion GPS interim, DAG Rosenstein letter to Chairman Glass, appointment of Mueller. This is the one that was pointed out by Q, and basically Anons took it from there. Confined, and it's spelled wrong, by then FBI Director James 8 Corney. So not even, I think it's James H, right? James 8 Corney in the testimony before the House Permanent. Fusion GPS interim again. Trump's firing of FBI Director James Corney. I mean, this is a way to make it so that, like, you know, the way things work, when these guys, they understand how they know so many little tricks, and this is one, and Judicial Watch has a huge part to play in this. Their FOIA requests, I mean, they know what they're looking for. They obviously have some inside knowledge. They know exactly what to FOIA. But if you FOIA Comey, well, now everybody knows, hey, just FOIA Corney as well. Anything with the name Corney. And then that's when you'll really get everything. Here's another one. Emails about G.A.J. Rosenstein and the 25th Amendment. Oh, this is the whole wearing a wire, right? Appeared upset and emotional over the Corney firing. In a conversation May 14th, Rosenstein asked McCabe to reach out to Corney to seek advice. So this just keeps going. And the guy goes, shit. Search department.justice and look what you find. RE again is regarding. God. That's what happens when people follow people who aren't exactly educated in like the simplest way. So searched Corney, just department, process, general topics, action DAG, appointment, download, confined, Corney. Yep. Now you see this. Here's Q. Corn harvest 5x5. I'm sure a lot of you guys know 5x5, loud and clear. It's also like like affirming something. So he's saying this whole thing with the harvesting of the corn was basically just they knew about this, and they knew that this was a tactic that was being used, and that's what it was all about. And I think that they knew that they were screwed, that they were onto them as soon as you start seeing. Because trust me, I follow Q close. There's others on like YouTube but you know who follows it the closest? The people who are directly involved. This is not just some BS, folks. I always leave room for AI, but I am less and less leaving room for AI. Check this one out, guys. I might add this in the headline as well. Vatican ambassador to France resigns after molestation charges. Again, Vatican ambassador to France resigns after molestation charges. Actually, in the thumbnail, you'll see something with this. In the thumbnail, if you notice the Pope along with like I think it's like a bishop or something like that, you'll notice that's the guy. That is the Vatican ambassador to France. And this is at 420, 17th. Godspeed Q. And Q puts, dark to light, those you were taught to trust the most. And again, dark to light, something that's probably been said 100 times by Q. Those you were taught to trust the most, something that's probably been said like 5, 6, 7 times by Q. So it seems what it seems like to me is like it's no longer just like setting things up and future proofs past. No, we are in like the final phase. And it was said once that IG report drops, then it'll be boom, the Comey report, boom, then the another report, and then indictments. Or there might be one other step in there. I just gotta grab a charger real quick. Should be right here, but it's not. While I do that, let's check on the chat. Amanda. Take something, at least know where it is, or give it back. Oh.
You didn't ask me again. I just figured you found it. You sure it's not in this bedroom? Because
It might be.
Plug it in again.
All right, here's the charger. Is this it?
Are you kidding me? It was in the bed the
Wait,
whole
wait,
time.
only
You're
half of it.
asking
That's
me.
why. So I was looking for the other part.
Then it has to all be there. Yeah. Wow. Right in the bed.
All right.
Sorry.
I just can't have this. I can't have this die. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I just need to make sure I have the charger. I don't want this dying on you. I don't want to have to do a part 2 in case something breaking happens tonight. All right. Thank you. All right. Just plugged in. All set. All right. And by the way, you guys are onto it with a lot of this. Like I like this because what's taught with this whole dark to light stuff. There's a lot of talk about God and good and evil, and the deeper the rabbit hole goes, the more it becomes about good and evil. All right. So yeah, so that's unbelievable, huh? Another one of them. I mean, high ranking. Okay, so next. So do you believe in coincidences? Let's put that windscreen on here. How's that? That should do better with the audio. All right. Do you believe in coincidences? So what it says here, corny. Again, corny here, right on the executive summary. Boom, right there. Devin, these are some of the tweets I was referring to. Corn, ready for to be cut, which is why I think there's a second meaning behind it. Because if you look up some of the things that have been like some of their like the mottos or whatever, of like for instance, like a cryptologist motto would be like, we are listening, or we hear all, or so, you know what I mean. We hear all, we are listening. That would be like a cryptologist, something like that. But when it comes to corn spelled backwards and rock, you have things like they speak in like this broken English in this old Sega Genesis game, like all your bases to be ours, and things like that. But I think it's a double meaning. But the one that they're referring to right now that wasn't relevant to me, I didn't even notice it when I was reading it. But once it seemed like nobody did until it was pointed out by Q. Once it was pointed out that every time Comey is mentioned in any of these things, it's corny, not Comey. So, and like Q always says, misspellings matter. Devin Nunez, corn ready to be cut. And then you to the left of that, that's corn. That's actually a Twitter picture up from Comey right there, from his own status. And believe it or not, right there, that one says corny. Wow. How did he do that? Wow. Was the corn ripe for the harvesting? It is now. And then you see this. This is 93. If you fill it in, it comes out to something 93 days of darkness, decay. Days of darkness and the decay. Days of decay, darkness. And if you guys remember, on that 93rd day, there was only one channel that got the information. And any of you guys were there live, please shout it out. But we had someone come into our live post. If you guys want to see this, if you guys really want to see it, leave a comment below and I'll reference the video and timestamp. And you guys will be able to see it yourself. Somebody comes in and they let us know Q is back and he's going to be posting soon at this. Now, what did I hadn't seen Q in 93 days at that point. So I'm like, okay, what's soon? Maybe in a week. I hadn't broken that code yet. Well, 45 minutes later, Q was posting. And the Red Pill News dispensary was the only one trusted with that information. And trust me, I looked everywhere, Twitter, YouTube. Nobody else had any knowledge of this happening, of this coming back under the site that is under now, 8kun.net. But some random person I never seen before pops in a weird name that I never seen before and drops that intel on us. And I took it serious. I didn't just ignore it. I took it serious. I announce it. I say, wow, and this seems credible just because of some of the stuff he said as well. Anyways, that's just this channel related, but it blows your mind when you see something like that. When will Americans wake up to the D Party con? So you see 3rd of March, 1 year Delta. Oh, wow. So exactly. Okay. So 1 year earlier to the right, spelling and sentence formation matters. Okay. Where we go one, we go all. Misspellings matter. Sentence formation matters. learn. See, that's the double meaning. The misspelling matters refers to corny instead of comey. The sentence formation matters would help you make the link and to put corn backwards into the National Reconnaissance Operations Center. Um, and that, that would the corn to be cut. It's bad grammar. The sentences, it's not it doesn't make sense. It's not written the way you would write a sentence. It's almost like Yoda with like the way Yoda talks. Like he says the end of the sentence at the beginning. You know what I mean? It's like that. And here we go again. James B. Corny, and that's a 1 year delta, and that's what they call it. By the way, when like something is you'll see later about a correlation between Q posts and President Trump's posts, where there's a less than 1 minute delta. They call it a 1 minute delta, but it's less than a minute, or sometimes it's exactly a minute to the second, which is why I know that they're running it off of a relay switch. If you guys don't know what that is, we can pull that up later. But I find that to be very fascinating that they were able, exactly 1 year later, the misspellings matter, and then exactly 1 year later, they refer to the corny, and it's 1 year later, 1 year delta, just saying. So that's what anon puts. Do you believe in coincidences? Anon collab. Another thing he always says is, how many coincidences until mathematically impossible? Because he knows there's people out there who don't believe it, who still question it. But it gets to the point where, I mean, this IG drop, he was able to, he would have watched that he had done weeks before, tell you the day, the time, not only when the IG report would be dropped, but also when there would be a like a little like like their own little comment. They comment on it. They kind of make a public comment on it, from Ba, and as well as Durham. All that stuff happened at 129. So that January 29th date, that could be, like I said, the double meaning thing. That was like a triple meaning, but that's all kind of based on the same thing, the time of the watch. That it might also be a date in the future, but we'll see. We also came across something earlier, February 1st. Most likely February 1st, because that's the way you write military time. Kind of the way they write it here. Kind of the way the time is listed here. That's like the way you do it in the military. But anyway, so just because the public is unaware of something, and first of all, the storm has arrived. I should have just made that thumbnail, or at least had that in there. But you know what? Maybe on the next one. The storm has arrived. And this one is just simply called The Storm, which shows you that he can make the names of this anything. This one, he just makes it The Storm. So, you know what? Is that from Q, though? I think it is from Q, actually. So, yeah, that is from Q. So he can make it anything he wants. That's why when you see these codes in there, and you can kind of see little dates in it, the beginning, especially those first few letters. But let's see. Just because the public is unaware of something does not mean nothing is happening. You are hearing a tactic meant to delay H report. That would be Horowitz's report. Horowitz's report release necessary prior to Comey release. That's the Comey report. H plus D equals D. That would be the D class. And the D, or D class, equals the start of the mass awakening. White House, ABC organizations, state, foreign. I was thinking worldwide, but no, that's 3 and 3. Because usually, whatever they're trying to say right there, you can spell it right out. Looks like 6 letters. No, that's 7 letters. Well, this is all covered under domestic anyway. Anyways, post D class comes many eyes. Now, what do you think those eyes are? Yep, you guessed it. Indictments. When blackmail no longer holds due to loss of senior level key government positions and 11th hour testimony, those previously protected become prey. Hunters become the hunted. God wins. Very interested. Very interesting, and I'm very interested to see how that goes. Now, check this out. I found this amazing. Now, here's another one of those. EMA 9G. Yeah, what's this? R like Arlington, or double A R Liff. Some of these might be real, but the beginnings though. EMA. EMA. Anyway, I just want you guys to start looking at these things, because they do have significance. Like for instance, let's just see if this one bears any fruit. You know what? Actually, we'll do it after. All right. So look at this guy. Oh, Alcee Hastings. No. Alcee Hastings, Democrat, Florida. I don't know how this guy is in the House, how he's a representative of Congress. You want to know why? A little story about this guy, a little background. We like a little background information, right? It's always interesting. In 1988, the Democratic-controlled United States, now mind you, in 88, it was a Democratic-controlled United States House of Representatives, took up the case, and Hastings was impeached for bribery and perjury by a vote of 413 to 3. He was then convicted on October 20th, 1989, by the United States Senate, becoming the 6th federal judge in the history of the United States to be removed from office by the Senate. In 2 hours of roll calls, voted on 11 of the 17 articles of impeachment. It convicted Hastings of, we could read the whole thing, but you guys get this? This guy was impeached for bribery and perjury. So the main one being bribery. He accepted bribes. This is actually something that links back to actually right from where I grew up. I grew up Winter Hill area. Well, you ever heard Winter Hill Gang? Well, that used to be Howie Winter's gang. It became Whitey Bulger's gang. And Whitey Bulger, he had a powerful brother who ended up being a state rep in Mass, ended up being the president of UMass. Now he went on, and this whole thing in the Ukraine, you know who the three are? The three, like, sons of powerful men? Well, you have, obviously, Biden's son, Hunter Biden. Then you have the second one is John Kerry's stepson. And if you guys, for those of you who don't know, John Kerry was married. There's another Massachusetts guy. He was married into the Hines family. Yes, that Hines family. Like we're talking like royal bloodline type stuff, which makes you think about where Kerry's bloodline might actually be. And well, their stepson is also on the board with Hunter Biden. Oh no, there's a third one. Whitey Bulger's nephew. Yeah, Whitey Bulger, his nephew. Okay. And this, do you know why this guy was impeached for bribery? Because he accepted bribes from Whitey Bulger to keep two of his men to lower their sentences. All right, these guys are looking at serious time. They didn't open their mouth. Whitey Bulger, he found somebody who was dirty, which isn't that hard, and he, especially in that party. Although back then, I used to think that that party was better than they are now. It wasn't like it's not like the party of today. The Democratic Party used to stand for something, but you're always going to have your bad apples. And this guy was a judge, and judges can be bribed, especially in the '80s, especially when it comes to Bulger. Um, I bet you it was some in the FBI, Connolly, that let him know, hey, this guy can be bribed. So that's what they did. They bribed him big time, big money. Welcome to the D Party Con. So this same guy who was bribed by Whitey Bulger is now on the Rules Committee talking about the impeachment of President Trump when he was impeached himself when he was a federal judge because he took a bribe and lowered the sentences significantly of two of Bulger's top men. I just got to see what you guys got to say to that. That's pretty bad. That's bad. Oh yeah, Conley, all, but still, Bulger is the one, you know. And he probably got a heads up from someone in the FBI, like, hey, this judge can be bought. He's totally corrupt. You know what I mean? He's corrupt then. He's corrupt now. Obviously, um, it's just unbelievable. I mean, how crazy is that? This guy Hastings. I mean, seriously, do you guys like hear what I'm saying? This guy is on the Rules Committee of the impeachment hearing for the House with the Democrats, and he is deciding how they're gonna go about the rules and all that. You gotta be kidding me! Somebody who was impeached himself by as a Democratic judge appointed by Democrats, Democratic contributed to the Democratic Party, federal judge who had two of Bulger's guys. Bulger bribed him, and their sentences were lowered significantly. I mean, it's just I know what you're saying, Westside. That's true, but this is like it's glaring. It's glaring. Even he was impeached 413 to 3. Like what? What? Wow. When I saw that because I remember actually seeing him, and he just didn't rub me the right way for some reason. I don't know. It's so weird how like I don't know. I think we all have it to it, some more than others, depending on how you grew up. But we all have that like kind of like BS meter. And I think especially us people that will actually like understand that everything isn't as it seems. And okay, so on to the next one. So this says this over here, this next one, discovery. Oh, what's this about? Oh, I know what this is. This is interesting. Okay, so FISA court slams FBI over surveillance applications in rare public order. And basically, what they're doing is they're saying, hey, you know what? Something needs to be done. And they're talking to Ray, the new FBI director, actually saying, hey, you need to, by January 10th, I believe. Let me make sure I'm correct. In a rare public order Tuesday, the Chief Justice of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, FISC, strongly criticized the FBI over its surveillance application process, giving the Bureau until January 12th to come up with solutions in the wake of findings from Justice Department Inspector General Michael E. Horowitz. The order from the court's presiding judge, Rosemary M. Collier, came just a week after the release of the Horowitz withering report about the wiretapping of Carter Page, a former campaign advisor to Trump. Now, the thing is, you're supposed to be able to take the word of the head of the FBI, the head of the DOG, or the second command of the DOG, the second in command at the FBI, the head of the CIA, all that are all that it's verified. When you say something is verified, then the judge need not ask any more questions unless they do not even. And this our structure. Now, yes, there is certain things we all know some shady stuff goes on in the government, right? But even a judge, they're not going to question something like that. I mean, they're all putting their careers on the line if they're wrong. And it's like, this is unprecedented. It's unprecedented. Now, it doesn't mean it's unprecedented as to this is the only FISA. By the way, there's 4 main FISAs. And wait until people start finding out that one of those FISAs, because you got to remember, when they first started opening these up, they didn't know who was going to win. They didn't even know who was going to win out of the Republicans. They also, this is the kicker, they also had one on Ted Cruz. So for all those people out there that just think this is about Trump, no. This shows that it goes deeper than Trump. This is an extremely corrupt from the top, tippity top, with President Obama, himself. And he had me fooled. I was thinking he's going to make changes. I'm talking about like in the beginning at 08, right? I really thought he was going to make changes. I feel like such a fool. I mean, I was young, but still, no excuse. I'm not going to give myself any. I should have known better. But then again, how could any? Because I wasn't always a Republican voter. Actually, I wasn't ever a Republican voter. I mean, I was independent, but I usually leaned liberal. But actually, I did vote for Romney the second term, so I do at least give myself that. But from the top down, from Obama to his CIA director Brennan, corrupt, FBI director Comey, corrupt, second in command McCabe, corrupt, the DOJ, corrupt. His attorney general back then, even Loretta Lynch, even the one before that, the Secretary of States, Hillary, John Kerry, corrupt, all corruption, with a 16-year plan to take this country down. You might as well call it a 24-year plan with the friggin' Bush, And then before that, another Clinton, and before that, another Bush. No wonder this country ended up in the position we ended up in. It's really, that's why I really hope there has to be a public awakening when all this comes out. No matter how much you hate Trump, they're gonna want to see heads roll. I don't care what's there'll be. Of course, there'll be some crazies that are just they just don't have a brain. That's why they're so indoctrinated that they never really had a chance. So young, but anyone over a certain age, when this awakening comes, it's gonna be when they say public awakening, they mean the majority, the large majority of America is gonna wake up and demand indictments, no matter what side of the aisle they were voting for prior. So yeah, that's gonna be huge. And here's a little bit of continuance on this, but talking about Flynn, who, by the way, Flynn has his sentencing coming up on the 28th, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I'm pretty positive about that. On the 28th is when Flynn has his, he'll be having his, I'm sorry, his sentencing or supposed sentencing. Turns out the judge actually had been asking for a lot of information from the FBI. This judge might throw this case out. They're going to throw the case out, put it that way. And then I think, boom, 29th, something big happens. And it might have something to do with that, with Flynn. Because all of a sudden, Flynn, he's going to be unleashed. That's my prediction, and that seems to be the way that Q is pointing this. So this is taken out of the fisc.uscourts.gov. All right, so this is just taking an excerpt from there. The frequency with which representations made by FBI personnel turned out to be unsupported or contradicted by information in their possession and with which they withheld information detrimental to their case, calls into question whether information contained in the other FBI applications is reliable. Think Flynn, FISA. Illegal. And notice it's in kill brackets, meaning, yes, very illegal. So that's going to be his get out of I want to say get out of jail free, but that's not even right to say. It would be like get out of that situation where you are hemmed up and all the odds stacked against you, people who want to lie and all this stuff. Yeah. So okay, here we go. So propaganda, GoFundMe next. Let's see what this is. Oh, I know what this is. Here's Lisa Page. Yep. That Lisa Page, the FBI agent that had our love talks with Strzok. The one we saw at the beginning of the show mentioning, hey, the POTUS wants updates as to everything we're doing on September 2nd, 2016. Meaning that POTUS was, yep, Obama. Going on the Rachel Maddow show tonight, it's time to talk about the release of my text messages. The 2 years of lies shouted across the media about me and what it's like when the President of the United States tries to ruin your life. Even though I, tried to sabotage a duly elected president and go against the will of the people. Get out of here, crocodile. I didn't even say crocodile tears. Her words that trying to invoke this, that's why this, and I think Q will troll here and there, and he definitely kind of trolls her a little bit. Yeah, he definitely trolls her. It's like, what? It's like you tried to get a duly elected. He's like propaganda. I mean, obviously. And guys, I say on the show all the time, the Smith-Mundt Act of 2012. Ever since then, things have been different. Propaganda, the ban on propaganda was lifted by yours truly, Obama. From that day forward, the news was allowed to spew propaganda. And you know, the whole thing was supposed to be for government propaganda only. Well, first of all, as the United States, remember, we shouldn't be doing any types of propaganda. But if it was government propaganda, don't you think the media would be a lot nicer to Trump? No, it's the deep state, unelected, senior executive services types. You know that the ones who really run things. You know, the people who are there lifetime positions without being elected. So he puts in there again trolling wiki.how to prepare for jail. How to prepare for jail. So he's sending her a little. Yeah, go on Rachel Maddow, do all that. Good. What you do? You got to go fund me next? You know, yeah, I'll help you out. Wikihow.com, prepare for jail. So I enjoyed that. All right, so what we got now? All right. The first indictment, again, in the kill brackets, unseal, will trigger mass population awakening. First arrest will verify action, and confirm future direction. They will fight, but you are ready. Maca 9. Now, this Maca 9, it does go back to some stuff that I'll actually show you guys. I'll bring it back in the next Q video. Because like I said, I have some videos coming up that have nothing to do with Q. Maybe I'll like throw in a Q video like at some point during the day on one of the days. More likely Sunday during the day rather than Saturday. My Saturday. No, I'll do a Friday night video, Saturday night video. It depends. It depends on how much is said, how much is put out. But but I'll come back to the Maca 9. These are all, look for the Maca 9. Because you can put up at the top here, you can search anything. I could search Maca 9. And anything with Maca 9 comes up, and they're all going to be related. First indictment on sale. So he posted this twice, which is something Q has been doing a lot lately. It's like he's really trying to drive home those points. And they always usually have something to do with some type of Maca. So he posted that twice, and that wasn't a mistake. You know, like I said, this is military precision. It's all run on relay switches. Okay. All right. House cleaning. No mess, no stress. Term discoveries can lead to early retirement. Think FBI departures. Think DOJ departures. And by the way, I think this is what this is referring to. There were in this story. I'll just tell you what it says. There were 5 people just this week, top officials at the Pentagon who stepped down. So take that for what it's worth. Breaking news: DARPA head resigns, moving on to industry. So the head of DARPA has now resigned. And he's going to Facebook? Interesting, huh? Still tracking resignations? Oh, wait till you guys see the list of resignations. I mean, I have to start taking. You know what? I'm going to go back and watch this video, and all the things that I'm going to say them out loud like this. I'm saying it for myself. I'm going to write them all down. I'm going to show you all these things. I think they're very important to show how many resignations have not only just happened recently. I mean, those are the most important as far as what's going on right now. But there's been so many resignations ever since Q started. Ever since they saw the writing on the wall. I think there's also been some executions, but we can get into that another day. So, yeah, everyone's still tracking the resignations queue. So, yeah, look at that statement by him, Principal Associate Deputy Attorney General Edward O'Callahan. Ed is one of the most highly regarded lawyers at the Department of Justice. His dedication and tireless commitment to the work of the department is second to none. Ed possesses a rare combination of sharp intellect, common sense, and sound judgment. He's basically saying, like, yeah, he was smart and he's sound of mind to know when is when. Like, get out, make a deal before, if you hang in there and try to fight back and be another sleeper cell that the deep state got, no, cut your ties with them, work with us, resign. We can't have you in public office. Ed possesses so we went there. That served him well from his time as a prosecutor in the Southern District of New York. Ooh, so he was a prosecutor. So that's the big boy game, Southern District of New York. To his service at the highest levels of the department, including as acting deputy attorney general. We were lucky to have him at the heart of the leadership team at the DOJ. He will be greatly missed. All right. It's all about optics. Timing of impeachment vote revised. Yep. It was revised, actually. 7 p.m. Eastern time. Because you remember, what did we kick off the show with, but also end the last show with? It was that Bar was going to be on last night at 7 p.m. Eastern time with Martha McCollum. Sounds like a Scottish name. But yeah, he was supposed to be on at 7 p.m. And what happened? That's why there was so many delays by the Democrats, by the way. They delayed. They didn't want that interview with Ba to go out when it was supposed to. But it's still out there, and I highly recommend you guys check it out. In fact, at the end of this, we can all just check it out. Either that, or I could just put it to a list of things for the next one. 7 p.m. Like I said, I have 2 shows planned. One for tomorrow night, one for Saturday night. Friday night, Saturday night. 2 shows planned. Big shows. Things I've been researching all week. Interview with Ba, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Coincidence? How many coincidences before it's mathematically impossible? All right. Regarding drop. What happens when 90% of the media is controlled and owned by 6 corporations? What happens when those same corporations are operated and controlled by a political ideology? What happens when the news is no longer free from bias? What happens when the news is no longer reliable and independent? What happens when the news is no longer trustworthy? What happens when the news simply becomes an extension/arm of a political party? Fact becomes fiction, fiction becomes fact. When does news become propaganda? Well, I would say since the Smith-Munn Act. Identity creation? How does the average person who is under constant financial stress by design, you hear that, guys? How does the average person, meaning you and I, who is under constant financial stress, and it's the type of stress that will bring you to an early grave, and that's by design. If that doesn't make you sick, I don't know what will. Find time to research and discern fact versus fiction. And it's true. It's very difficult. And even then, you don't know. I mean, what are you going to go with Snopes? I mean, that's why so many people go to YouTube. But you got to be able to trust the people you're listening to on YouTube. Majority of people are more prone to believe someone in power sitting behind a big brand news name. Do people, as in the human psyche, tend to follow the majority mainstream viewpoint in fear of being isolated and or shunned? Yes. Mainstream is used for a reason. Dominate trend in opinion. So true. If majority of people believe X, then X must be validated slash true. Why do mainstream media heads within different orgs always use the same keywords and or catchphrases? Coordinated? By who? Outside entity providing instructions? You hear that? Outside entity providing instructions? Do they count on the fact that people, human psych, are more prone to believe something if heard over and over and over again by different trusted sources? Do echo chamber tactics provide validation credibility to the topic slash point being discussed? Now, I wouldn't answer these questions as yourself because obviously you guys are of a certain intelligence where you seek out the truth and look deeper. These questions are to the average American. Threat to intellectual freedom? Ooh, that's deep. Would control over of these institution organizations allow for the mass control of a population's viewpoint regarding regarding again a desired topic? Read again, digest. And I highly recommend people go back and go through that post again, rewind to this point, look at the minute marker right now, and rewind back to this. You almost read it a couple times, and it's just like, wow. Would control over of these institutions allow for the mass control of population viewpoint regarding a desired topic? Logical thinking. Why, after the election of 2016, did Dees and Media Corp's jumpstart a coordinated and planned divisive blitz intended to create falsehoods regarding illegitimacy of election, character assassination of POTUS through sexism, racism, and every other ism? Pre-post 2016 election? Why were violent mass terror organizations such as Antifa immediately created and funded? George Soros. But the question, not who, but why? Why were marches immediately organized to counter and silence pro-POTUS rallies and or events? Why were marches immediately organized which divided people into sex, gender, race, ism? When you control the levers of news dissemination, you control the narrative. Control of the narrative equals power. When you are blind, what do you see? They want you divided, divided by religion, divided by sex, divided by political affiliation, divided by class. When you are divided and angry and controlled, you target those different from you, not those responsible. In Killbox, controllers. They're the ones really responsible. What just happened? Oh, okay. Controllers. Divided, you are weak. Divided, you pose no threat to their control. When non dogmatic information becomes free and transparent, it becomes a threat to those who attempt to control the narrative and or stable and Killbox livestock kept minus sheep. Wow. Dude. When you are awake, you stand on the outside of the stable, groupthink collective, and have free thought, which I hope I'm pretty actually sure you do, actually, each and every person listening right now. Free thought is a philosophical viewpoint which holds that position regarding truth should be formed on the basis of logic, reason, empiricism, rather than authority, tradition, revelation, or dogma. This represents a clear and present danger to the constitutional republic of the United States of America. Q. But it's just a lop, right? It's all fake. Proof, 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 proof. And then to break it down like that makes so much sense. Here's a screenshot. This goes all the way back to April 24th, 2019. The Mueller report, despite being written by angry Democrats and Trump haters, and with unlimited money behind its 35 million, didn't lay a glove on me. I did nothing wrong. If the partisan Dems ever tried to impeach, I would first head to the U.S. Supreme Court. Not only, and then he cuts it off. Very interesting. So I don't know. It's like you definitely have to let it play out in the Senate, right? But then, hey, I mean, what they were able to pull off just because they have the numbers and basically they don't care about their real oath. They don't care about what's right and wrong, and they just hate somebody and that's it. I mean, that's not why you impeach somebody. There's always going to be one side that is going to have the majority after midterms. Midterms are not good to first term presidents. If there was an impeachment after every midterm, with every president, I mean, that could have happened with every single president. But the difference with this president is he threatens their whole way of life, especially after the last 16 years. 16. I mean, let's be honest, right? Since I would say since Reagan, we've either had a Bush or a Clinton or an Obama. Thousand points of light. All right. So check this out. An impeachment rule for the Supreme Court? Do the charges against Trump pass constitutional muster? The justices should decide before the Senate does. Huh? So I find that we're not going to go over that whole thing, but if you guys want to check it out, feel free. Like I said, QAnon.pub. Come and just click on that. It's very, very interesting. I don't think that they're going to hear it before or instead of the Senate or anything like that. I think let it go through the Senate. I mean, you know what? That the Senate, let it go through the Senate, but afterwards, then you bring it to the Supreme Court. I mean, I think that's an option as well, right? I mean, maybe there might be something where once it's been shot down. Oh, don't tell me. Are they messing with it again? Why? We hit way too many good points at once. Oh, here we go. Oh, by the way, so okay. What is going on? Why does it keep doing that? All right. All right. So everything you see on the right is actually right over here on the left. So we'll zoom in over here. So this is the first one, and then he's gonna piggyback on it. It must be done right. It must be done according to the rule of law. It must carry weight. It must be proven in the court of law. There can be no mistakes. Good things sometimes take time. And this is what I try to tell to the people who are the deniers, Q deniers. If it would have happened by now. For how long have I heard lock her up and heads will roll and I see nothing happening? Well, things are happening. There can be no mistakes. Good things sometimes take time, especially in justice, right? when it comes to judicial stuff. Attempts to slow block the inevitable justice will fail, and that is what they're doing. D's election interference 2016, Clinton, Hussein, illegal FISA. D's election interference 2018, Mueller. I mean, think about how many votes they got, because at the time, people thought Mueller was bringing Trump down. People are quick to forget about those days. D's election interference 2020, impeachment. It's like literally, it's like crazy. Everything that they accuse you of is what they're doing. It's like I even see this like amongst like YouTubers, and I don't even think they realize they're doing it. Projection. These people are sick. We, the people, are the cure. And by the way, this is something that's over and over and over. Fire Force, FBI, DOJ, state, Senate, Congress, CIA, DOD, Supreme Court, Federal Judiciary, DOJ, CIA. Oh, hired, installed. And then it goes to hired, installed. Supreme Court, Federal Judiciary, DOJ, CIA, locked and loaded, which is another thing that was mentioned a few times, and now we know what the reference is. He just finally made that reference. Ooh, there's that graphic. All right, I've been waiting to show you that graphic. All right, check this out. Look at Trump and QAnon have zero delta. Let that sink in. Now check this stuff out. A zero delta. And what that means is that with it, like less than 1 minute, in less than 1 minute after a Q post, then all of a sudden there will be a coordinated, yet obviously within 1 minute, and usually it has something to do with what Q posts about in a Trump tweet. Sometimes you really have to look for it, but it's tweets within 60 seconds following a Q post. So there's 36 posts at zero delta, which are, again, Trump tweets within 60 seconds following a Q post. Much higher than for any other elapsed time to next tweet. Statistical evidence Trump is coordinating tweets to when Q posts. More evidence that Trump is Q plus. Mathematically impossible. Exactly. So minutes from Q post to next tweet. As to number of Q posts. What about when verifying new trip regarding Project DCOMS, i.e. calling our shot? Standard deviation broken? Greatest statistical anomaly witnessed, or Q. So either you're looking at the greatest statistical anomaly in the history of mathematics, or yeah, Q's legit and working directly with POTUS, like directly with POTUS. And I'd argue that I used to think it was Admiral Rogers, but it's become more and more clear. Trump is Q plus. And then there's the Q team, but Q plus is just when Trump actually will go and make a post, which we haven't seen one of those in a while, but they happen. But yeah, I mean, look at this. It's unbelievable, really. These are all within 60 seconds following a Q post, and the standard deviation. So yeah, this is like, what are the chances? What are the chances? And it's spread out. You know, it's very interesting. 36 times, by the way. 36 times. And that number is a significant number as well. By the end, who knows? Maybe we'll have 45, but I wouldn't be surprised it just stays at 36. Um, all right. Thanks for staying and watch with us for a little while on this emotional night. We are with you and POTUS. Please pass that on to him. Friend, this must be the impeachment, right? Friend, patriot, hold your head up high. POTUS was not harmed in any way today, other than on paper. History books. Oh, I love that. That is awesome. Sometimes you must sacrifice yourself for the greater good. I would gladly take all those slings and arrows for you. Do you guys remember that video where he says that? Or that quote, even if you heard that quote, remember that? But it's played a lot in videos. POTUS. But even that can be undone. The enormity of what is coming will shock the world. Pray. I'm telling you, this gets a lot deeper than politics. First, it's a lot bigger than the United States. It's worldwide. It gets a lot deeper than politics. It gets down to good and evil. When you find out what these mother have been up to, it's sick. Back channels are important. Know your history, you will know why. And I guess the president's back channels. You could be talking about Twitter. Also, things like that. Just the fact of Q's existence. I mean, when you have a whole deep state against you, when you can talk directly, when you're a duly elected president, you have as many supporters as he does. When you can speak to the people directly through Twitter, through Q, you need plausible deniability, but through Q. You got a country to run, or that's why they have a Q team. And once in a great while, he's required to do something that just kind of validates it. Whether it be a Q proof and those tweets where they're less than 60 seconds from a Q post. Those all run on relay switches, which is something that in the military you learn about. It's like basically they are already set to drop at a certain time, and when one happens and the other one it's like they already know that the minute and second is going to drop, and they have known for a long time. It's all been pre-planned, every little bit. That's why you could go back to the beginning of Q, the first year of Q, and it all came true because this is like military precision from beginning to end. A foolproof plan. And they anticipated they had a plan A, B, C, D, E. You know what I mean? And then for each one of those plans, a plan A, B, C, and then each one of those subset of plans, you have an A, B, C. This is military precision. Queuing on Michelle. Thank you. Q plus. Here we have a Q plus here. This is worth looking into. Let's see it. So we got a Q plus. No, that's not what I should be this. Oh, that's not it. It'll pop up in a second. Here we go. All right, Michelle queuing on, dancing to a Q endorsed song. Oh, you know what? I can't play this song. That's what's unfortunate. I can't play that song. I noticed that people getting taken down for that. I can't. Literally, they'll take it down. But basically, it's a woman dancing. I had seen it in other places on Twitter. It's a woman like just dancing, and she does a dance. She's wearing a Q shirt with where we go one, we go all. And thank you, Q plus. So that's Q with the president in the room. That's from the president to that woman. Wow. M to madness. You gotta be kidding me. So puppet following orders. Curious what this is. Is this like Matto? All right, so while that loads, because this is driving me nuts now. All right, I didn't want to go this long. I can't believe I've been on this long. Let me see what I got left. Oh, we're just there. All right, we're just there. We're right there, guys. Just about done here. But I'm telling you. They're not gonna want to let us finish, I'm telling you. All right, we'll fill in those last couple, but basically it just this is what I wanted to point to, guys. Oh man. They do not want me. This is why these last couple ones here hold great significance. It's like, how can I have to. What is going on? Doesn't want me to finish. I'm gonna do my best to cut some of this dead time. That way, when it loads, people can actually get right to where they want. Look at that. Do you see that? There's 2 pages unresponsive. They're both Q. See that? Unbelievable. Anyways, did you guys catch that? Something big is about to happen. So I had looked at this because it was the first thing that came up. In case if they're really not gonna let me like see this, then I don't even know what to say. All right, so everything's cut. Come on. Maybe this one's my best bet. But basically, those last 2, it says something big is about to happen. And this is what I worry is that they are delaying what they know. This isn't like, okay, they dropped this and then we're going to wait forever again. And no, it's going to be like boom, 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 boom. When we talk about the 4 booms, these are going to be the 4 booms. Look at this. Pages unresponsive. Nothing else. Q and Q. I wonder why. I may have to start the next show on that. So you know what? StreamYard works. That's unbelievable. Legit getting censored. Real time. I'm just trying to get it back up. I'm trying to get it. I don't have, you saw it, they're unresponsive. They've made it so they're unresponsive now. Because I'm telling you, this is very important at the end here. I mean, I could just read them to you. I could do that. Hold on, maybe I'll be able to get back up here. Wow. Doesn't look like they're gonna let me. I mean, we just went all this time, and we get to the last ones, the ones that I want you guys to see the most. I'll just pull it up on my phone and read it to you. I just want you guys to have the visual as well. So you know what I'll do? We'll just improvise, and I'll just. But these are going to be important. I want you guys to know these now. So my audio's been removed. All right, audio's good, right? Audio good? Because I'll just do it right here. They want to play games? I'll do it right here. And I'll also go over it where you can see it better in the next one. Audio 5x5. All right. 5x5. Good. All right, ready? Now, this is another one of those things. This is just that last one. Let me show you guys. Read that. They want to make it so I can't share it? Look. Important to read and understand. Something big is coming. So this one, something comes up from Chuck Grassley. Although, is that really what? Wait, no, that's not it. This is about Admiral Rogers, the one I thought was Q plus. I was pretty sure it was Admiral Rogers, but I even heard about Admiral Rogers when I was in the military, because especially like in the crypto field, because it's like when you're a crypto, the next stop is usually NSA. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna read you this because it said. Remember what it said? I'll show it to you again what it says. But it says, here he is, by the way. That's Admiral Rogers, great man. I was convinced he was Q plus. He might just be Q, to be honest with you, like the leader of the Q team outside of POTUS. Or if POTUS is not Q plus, he would be Q plus. He'd be like second on that line. Him, Flynn. Although Flynn, until his case goes away, then he's unleashed. Look at it. They even have a delay on me. All right, ready? On March 9th, 2016. Yeah, and this is on the Epoch Times. Yep. Department of Justice, DOJ, oversight personnel learned that the FBI had been employing outside contractors who had access to raw Section 702 Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act data. And retained that access after their work for the FBI was completed. What? Remember that whole 1 through 99 thing? Yeah, check this out. This information was disclosed in a 99-page FISA court ruling on April 26, 2017, that was declassified by Director of National Intelligence Dan Coates. Not a good guy. That wasn't an isolated incident, and the improper access granted to outside contractors seems to have been the result of deliberate decision-making. Think about it. They want to almost kind of like have this thrown out on a technicality that they created. It's no wonder they realized, yeah, Coates, yeah. It's one thing that he, used to work with, but he's clearly deep state at this point. And there's some people who understand these Section 702s, and I'd like to hear from you guys. You guys know who you are. Where the FBI may be engaged in similar disclosures of raw Section 702 information that have not been reported. Section 702 permits the government to target foreign persons located outside the United States for surveillance, with the purpose of acquiring foreign intelligence information. Oversight of Section 702 collection is conducted by the FISA court. For more on Title III, Section 702, on the same day of the discovery of the FBI's use of private contractors, FBI lawyer and lover of Strzok, Lisa Page, who also sent out the text saying, "Oh, POTUS wants to know everything we're doing," on September 2nd, 2016, when they didn't just have a FISA on Trump, but also on Ted Cruz, just in case he won. FBI lawyer Lisa Page sent a text to FBI agent and lover Peter Strzok, "Need to try to fix a huge who effed up." Page quickly corrected her typo by texting WFO, with fuck up. I don't understand what you're saying. An abbreviation for the FBI's. Oh, that's the Washington field office. Oh, her typo. Okay, so she's need to fix a huge who f up. Now they always have like inside jokes, and maybe the Washington field office makes a lot more errors. I don't know. Let's just say that. But even then, she's still talking about a who f up, right? And then she fixes it to WFO, an abbreviation for the FBI's Washington field office. Page would later send another text on the same day noting, need to go meet with Andy again now. Who's Andy? Andrew McCabe, maybe? Andy was then Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe. This is my first time reading the whole article. I just read This is Big. Following discovery that outside contractors for the FBI were accessing raw FISA data, then National Security Agency NSA Director Admiral Mike Rogers directed the NSA's Office of Compliance to conduct a fundamental baseline review of compliance associated with 702. At some point in early April 2016, Senate testimony and page 83 to 84 of court ruling. You know what's crazy? It's like, there's a good amount of people in here, but it's like a lot of them are silent. So it's like, it's only, it's not my regulars, I'll tell you that. It's not even my haters. It's like just lurkers, which I'm a lurker, but like certain types of lurkers, because they know that this channel is hitting all the right tunes. It's not how many people are in the audience with stuff like this, because people don't believe this stuff. But with my background, I do have a certain understanding for this stuff, and I know and tell when I see it. Rogers served concurrently as director of the NSA, commander of the U.S. Cyber Command, and Central Security Service chief from April 2014 to May 2018. Rogers previously was the director for intelligence for both the Joint Chiefs of Staff and U.S. Pacific Command, and as commander of the U.S. Fleet Cyber Command and a U.S. 10th Fleet. Now, I haven't sworn this whole time, but I bet you right now, I try to load, it's not going to go through. And there's 17 people here with just one person. Only one person has wrote in the chat at all. All right, I just saw your last. So Rogers moved aggressively in response to the disclosure. He abruptly shut down all FBI outside contractor access. At this point, both the FBI and the DOJ's National Security Division (NSD) became aware of Rogers' compliance review. They may have known earlier, but they were certainly aware after outside contractor access was halted. Despite a continuous daily stream of messages between Strzok and Page, no text from the specific day that Rogers halted contractor access to the NSA database had been made public. On the following day, April 19, 2016, Page sent a text that ended with, and still in with Andy McCabe. The version available is heavily redacted. Strzok responded, "Hi, going to try to catch Bill." This text refers to Bill Priestap, head of the FBI's Counterintelligence Division. Later, Page responded, again, still in with Andy. The DOJ's NSD maintains oversight of the intelligence agencies. So, let's see. The Attorney General and DNI must also certify that intelligence community agencies will provide targeting. Let's see. John Cowan filed the government's proposal. So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna really dive into this. Rogers said, I went to the court and said, we have an issue. Rogers' recollection was correct. He appeared formally before the FISA court on October 26, 2016, and presented the written findings of his audit. The FISA court was unaware of the FISA query violations until they were presented to the court by then NSA Director Rogers. So they're reacting now after the IG report, but they've been aware since 2016. When the head of the NSA, this great man, Admiral Rogers, went in and made them aware of his audit and what he found. This is deep. You got Clapper going against it, Carlin going against it. You got all of them going against it. So why didn't Rogers provide an earlier preliminary briefing to the FISA court? To be clear, Rogers wasn't in any way assisting the FBI in obtaining the page FISA. The information that Rogers presented to the FISA court was damning. It resulted in a complete overhaul of the FISA process and its underlying systems. The FISA court was particularly critical of the FBI in its ruling. This is okay. Guys, I am going to get to that, but I'm going to do a lot of research into this right here. This is amazing. Important to read and understand, which is exactly what I'm going to do. You know why? Next letter from Q. Something big is coming. And with that, I'll end it there. And I'll pick that up on the next Q video coming up. Red Pill News Dispensary. That was weak. All right, guys. Thank you. Well, NSA isn't at fault here, by the way. Siberian beer. Yeah, it's not NSA. All right, see you guys. So we'll pick that off exactly where we left off. It'll be very interesting because they're not letting me load it here. I gotta do it from my phone. So we'll do it in the right way. All right, see you guys.